Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming back. Today we're talking about some things that you can do if you can't afford to go to therapy. Quick disclaimer before we get started. Again, this whole channel, but especially this, is not intended to be like a replacement for therapy. I would really encourage you guys to look into therapy if you can. I am going to talk about some resources for like low cost or free therapy. I have to jump before we get into like the free stuff, but I wanted to pass this along because I recognize that therapy is not a resource that everybody has access to. But that doesn't mean that you can't work on your mental health or like work on yourself if you can't be like in therapy regularly. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, like I said, is low cost and free therapy services. I would really encourage you guys to look into this. We have a video about how to find a therapist, but it's like one of the first ones that we filmed, and she's real janky. So I'm probably not going to link it in the card, mostly because I'm embarrassed of it and need to refilm it. But I'll still link it in the card, whatever, fuck it. But I do talk in there about how to find like a federally funded or grant-funded behavioral health agency. Those are great resources. I honestly would encourage you to just get on Google Maps and look up therapist. Odds are a couple big name agencies will show up on your Google Maps, and you can call and sort of inquire about like, listen, I don't have a lot of money. Do you guys have like a sliding fee scale? Sliding fee scale is one of the biggest things because what it does is tailor the cost of your therapy services based on your income, and they will ask you for like your pay stubs and things like that, so you can't lie. You do have to prove that you are like financially eligible for that, but that can be a huge game changer for people. Or you can ask if they have grant-funded programs or programs that offer resources for people who can't afford traditional therapy. One of the other things that's an option if you can't afford therapy services regularly is to get in contact with a therapist and say, listen, I can't afford therapy regularly, but I do want to be in therapy. Is it possible for me to schedule sessions once a month or to have therapy sessions more infrequently or on an as-needed basis? You will have mixed results with this one. Some therapists are very opposed to this. Some therapists are all on board for this. It just depends. But again, still a resource that you can look into and something I would encourage you to check out. Okay, that out of the way, let's talk about some stuff that you can do. The first thing is to look at self-help content. And I know that this sounds kind of cheesy, and we did talk about this in another video, but reading self-help books, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, watching TED Talks, following therapists on Instagram, following like #mental-health on Instagram. There are a lot of resources for free or low-cost mental health services on the internet, and sometimes just learning about mental health or like surrounding yourself with the information can be useful. So yeah, all of those things are, again, useful resources and something that can really help change your mindset, because sometimes just learning about like the concept of boundaries or learning about what a cognitive distortion is can be helpful to you and give you a jumping off point for you to do some processing and thinking and like, working on stuff on your own. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is like therapy apps or like sort of therapy adjacent apps and things like that. There are a number of these. Not all of them are created equal. I found a pretty decent list of ones that seem to be evidence-based. As a disclaimer, I have not personally used all of these. So, definitely buyer beware and like sort of use at your own discretion. Definitely look at reviews and things like that and like use at your own discretion before you just jump in head first. But I will say one of the ones that I have used as like an experiment and like checked out before recommending to people is an app called 29K. I'll put their logo like up here. I'll put links to these in the description too, but 29K is an app that was developed by Rachel Brathen, or Yoga Girl, and her whole goal with it was to provide free therapy services for everyone forever. I will say that you have to be a certain type of person to enjoy and utilize the classes that they have. It's basically a guided meditation and like journaling exercise. But if you are a person who has a decent amount of self-awareness and you're in a place where you're ready to, do some introspection, it can be a really useful tool, and again, a great thing for you to try out and just see what comes up. Like I said, I'll link the list of the article that I found that has some pretty decent ones. Most of the ones that I have found are like CBT psychoeducation apps, which psychoeducation basically means like teaching about the concepts of mental health. Again, these are not a replacement for therapy, because therapy is tailored specifically to you, and you have a person whose job it is to be in tune with what's going on and to respond to how your journey is going on a case-by-case basis. These are all, you know, like very you get what you get kind of thing, and like it's very informational and like worksheety, but again, useful resources and something that can help you to jumpstart like the journaling process or the introspection and like getting in touch with yourself. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is just good old-fashioned self-care. I know that this seems kind of silly, but self-care really is, I mean, it's one of the first things that I situate with my clients, because it's important to have a reliable list of go-to things that you know help you feel better, that bring you joy, that fill up your cup, or are otherwise a positive influence in your life. I have done a whole video on self-care. I'll put it in the card. I think it's up here.
That right? Is so high.
Here.
There you go.
I'll put it up there so you guys can watch that. But self-care can look lots of different ways and can be lots of different things. If it brings you joy and it's not, you know, like something that's negatively harming or negatively impacting you or harming another person, then, you know, have at it. But yeah, definitely do some thinking about developing a like really comprehensive self-care routine that feels feasible for you to check in with regularly. Not something that you're doing like once a day, or that's a lot. That's good. Once a day is good, but not something that you're doing like once a week or once a month. Something that you're able to check in with like on a regular basis. The last thing that I wanted to pass along as a resource is support groups. I know that when I say like group therapy or support groups, the first thing that comes to mind is like an AA meeting in an old church ballroom. I promise that's not what all support groups look like. AA and like the 12-step program is actually a really great resource. I think I'll link their website in the description, but there's lots of different 12-step groups for different issues. It's not just Alcoholics Anonymous. Like they have obviously like Narcotics Anonymous, but they have like Codependence Anonymous and like Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous and Overeaters Anonymous. There's a lot of different 12-step groups. Obviously going to in-person groups is not really an option right now, but there are still a lot of resources online. NAMI's website is a great resource. Again, I will link that in the description. There are tons of support groups. They have like peer groups. They're obviously organized like in-person groups that I'm sure are on hiatus right now, but yeah, their website is just a wealth of knowledge and information, and there's like even classes that you can take and stuff like that, which I think they do charge a fee for, but might be more feasible of a fee than like going to therapy, so that could be something to look into. Even like online communities, the internet can be kind of volatile and unpredictable, so like again, proceed with caution, but even communities on places like Reddit or Facebook or Discord, things like that can help you to build a sense of community, and again, to not feel so alone. Sometimes just talking with people about the things that you're going through, that they're also going through, again, just helps you feel better and to feel less alone, and makes you feel like, okay, I've got people, I've got a support system, like I'm not cuckoo bananas or super dramatic, like this is something that other people struggle with too. So I think that's all of the things. I hope that this was helpful. Like I said, I do want to encourage you guys to look into low cost or free therapy, because that definitely is a resource and an option. And if you guys need help with that or whatever, like honestly, just DM me. I would be happy to help you or like point you in the right direction. Obviously, I'm limited in terms of like my regional knowledge, but yeah, I really do want to help people find resources for this stuff, and so that's why I felt like this was important to talk about, because not everybody can afford therapy, but I am confident you can afford some other stuff. So especially free stuff. We can all afford free stuff. So yeah, like I said, I hope this was helpful. If you liked the video, leave the video a thumbs up. Put in the comments some nice things, or even some mean things, honestly, as long as they're only about me. Leave mean things about me, but not about other people. And then share the video to help the channel grow and to help each other grow. And yeah, I will see you the next time we post a video. Okay, bye.